Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. I'm starting here in the Nasdaq, and what I want to show is the inability for algorithms to actually know how to trade. We had Google and Microsoft reported their earnings this afternoon, and one was a little bit of a miss here and there, and the other one was not necessarily blow the doors off, but both of these corporations, both Microsoft and Google, continue to produce billions of dollars in results, in profit each quarter. So they remain strong. They remain big within their sectors. They remain grounded. And what happens in between kind of is just like a product of maybe what the options trade, et cetera, et cetera. But these are solid companies. So no matter what happens, I think, to our economy or things around us, the companies will continue to function, and they're going to go through bumps and grinds just like the rest of us. But as long as they're churning out billions of dollars worth of earnings and profitability over several different divisions within these companies, I think that everything's going to be running along. Now, how we want to value each of these companies based on the earnings, based on, et cetera, all of the givens that we need to put in, and analysts then turn and churn and put it through their models to come up with a price where they think this stock or this company should be priced moving forward. And because they're going to take it, so all these earnings and everything else is just all going to continue to move forward. And this is the part where I find it starts to get sticky, because I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe that the models really take in economic changes that are really going to be coming. Now, I'm glad that Microsoft and Google are doing well. And what we're seeing as we go into our finishing close here, our extra hour of trading, they're now moving in to Google and pushing it up even higher. Now, the stock initially closed at 122. It's now trading at 132. And so the push to keep getting the stock, everything's out. So now I think we have, everybody's done and they're churning the numbers, et cetera, et cetera. But what I want to make clear is this was the initial, let me just go this way. Here's when it first came out. It ends up right pretty much where there was the previous 2-minute or 5-minute period, finished up with a low at 15,663. We get it. It zips lower, it zips higher, and then it ends up here, and then here comes Google. Then they just go, it's like, nope, we don't care, we don't care, we don't care, we don't care, we're just going to buy it. And initially Microsoft, and again, the algorithms are really set up, they go and they grab bits, right? The click words, the phrases, the numbers, the beat, misses, all of that language gets picked up, converted into buy or sell. So that's why we get this. And then we get this. So it becomes almost laughable that they're still running algorithms to be first. Let me be first to react to this number. Let me be first. It's like, why? It's normally wrong, both directions. So, okay, you're stuck here, and then you're out here. It's like, who knows? In any case, it's kind of fun to watch. Now, taking a look at the hourly chart, which is where I'm going to really focus with today, again, the market has not changed. The Nasdaq overall has not changed. Now, I'm sure going to get some comments, I'm sure, from subscribers or just people that drop by and listen to what I'm talking about and say that, oh, no, we're not going to go down. The market's still in a bull market, et cetera, et cetera. And that is great. That could be your opinion. But now I want to show you where my work comes in and how I'm viewing it. Now, I have left this, that this is still questionable because they could come down and break this, and they could do it tomorrow for all I know. And that would then produce a very negative picture. Drop the 3 down to here, the 4 to there, right? Because I still haven't put a 4 here. It's still not certain or clear. Until it does make itself clear, and I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer, and I'll explain that in 2 minutes here, is that the 3 would go here, the 4 would go here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all done. So in other words, this becomes minute 5, it becomes minor 5, it becomes intermediate wave C and primary wave B. That long-awaited finishing point could be right here. It reached to higher levels. It got up to a level that was that fit Fibonacci-wise, Elliott-wise, et cetera, and everything fell into place, and so it could definitely be done. Now, if that is the case, what do I look for first? I look for the development and actually the execution of a first 5 waves down, not minuscule, because we got that right down to there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was our first 5. Okay, now we're looking for a 4th wave. If I'm going to label it 3, I'm looking for a 4, and it could have been an ABC. Okay, that takes us down to here. All right, there's the A, there's a small b, there's the C, or even down to here, or even down to here. So I can do a 4 there, but guess what this has to do now? It can't look back, it can't stop. It has to go through here, and head above here. If indeed this is a 4, this thing has to go. Very similarly to what the S&P is already doing, right? So the fact that this went deeper, the fact that it's still appearing to be 5 waves down, keeps this in jeopardy. Now, if I do move the 3, put the 4, and this turns into the 5, what is this? Wave 1, minute wave 1 of minor wave 1 of intermediate wave 1 of primary wave C. That's what it would be. So if that's the case, if it's minute wave 1, what comes next? Minute wave 2. Well, what are those fibs? Well, we got past, and we're getting over that 0.382, which it should. If it's a wave 2, what are the most common fibs? 50 to 62%. So as I reported last night, and I talked about that, yep, I'm going to watch and see what this does, because I'm going to give it the room to 15,773 to 15,842 up in these areas before really kind of switching anything around. Now, if it gets up there and we turn and we head lower and we break below this level, the 3 is coming down to here, the 4 is going to there, and it's all done. Because the first 5 up, the first 5 down, and the ABC up, it's done. It's in. It's complete. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm telling you, this is what I'm watching for, and this is what I'm looking at. Now, how do you want to trade that? Well, carefully, but again, understand that I'm a day trader. So I teach that we don't care if it goes up or down. We just need to participate. We need to get a grip on what it is doing and be able to go along with the price action, to be able to trade the individual moves, make our money, be done, and thank you. That's the whole goal as a day trader. Now, position traders, boy, I can tell. And if your position's long because you really do believe that it is a new bull market and we got much, much more to go, then you're still riding on long positions. Okay, that's great. But I think it's a very difficult way to trade. So these moves are crazy, folks. I mean, again, even if I bring it down and I just look at this, these moves are crazy. This is after the close. Boom, boom, and then just ding, 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 and just go and go and go. 2-minute chart. It's kind of crazy. And we had already gotten up to 15,736. this afternoon, and then zipped all the way back and then came all the way back up. So this did actually, if you take a look at it, did put 3 waves down. So that's on a 2-minute chart. How does that fit into my other chart? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It works 2 ways. A, B, and then we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave C. Very possible. So all things remain on the table right now. What I am going to now look for is to see how it reacts. First of all, what happened overnight, of course. If this is an A and a B, and this is a 1, 2, or even just 1 of C, 2 of C, or 3 of C, 4 of C, then I am looking for the 5th wave to come up into here. And then again, see what the market does once those levels are there. Now, we continue to have enough coming up in the news in this cycle that could really twist and turn a lot of things in every direction. Tomorrow, we have Meta. Metaverse comes out with their earnings. And of course, Meta jumped, closing up $5 off of its New York close, and did trade above 300 again. Now, why? Well, they're reporting tomorrow, and Google reported great ad sales. Well, Metaverse has got, they do ad sales too, so they got to blow the doors off. So again, we don't know, but that's going to be the intent. And so we get a lot of adjusting going on with positions. It keeps it all interesting, to be honest with you. So we got Meta, but before Meta reports after the close, we got the Fed. Now that Fed decision, so sort of quote unquote baked in right now, is 25 basis point hike. And everyone's now going to be like, okay, that's good. We can live with that. I can deal with 25 basis points. No problem. And so they're going to keep buying it. So don't be surprised if the Fed does what the intention is, or what the market believes is going to happen. That we get that 25 basis points, we get a, whoo, that's fine. We're expecting that. Buy it. And if they do, trust me, it's going to change the trajectory. It's going to change necessarily, like that 3 won't move. It'll stay there. The 4 will go here, and I'll be looking for my higher numbers. And so let's take a look at what that'll look like. Right now, I'm leaving this as is. So this is the internals to go here and here. If we get where they just blast through this thing, then I will put the 4 there, and it'll be a 1, 2, and then we're looking at a 3rd taking us up. So let's find out. Here we have minor wave 5 is much higher, right? Minor wave 5, 100%, 16,396. So the equality between minor 5 and minor 1 is at 16,396, right? So that is 600 points, 700 points higher than where we are. Nice rally if you got it. We have additional here, which I believe is the intermediate C wave, would be equal to, no, this is the all-time high. Excuse me. So we'll be knocking on the door. So that 100% is if wave B, primary wave B, would be equal to primary wave C, and this whole thing would be one big flat. This whole cycle wave A, which is the larger moving in playing out right now, right? On a primary degree, we have to have a primary A, B, and C to form cycle wave A. So no matter whether if we go to 16,767 or 17,350, the next step is down hard. That's just the way that the thing's constructed. Where we take it in the meantime is, yep, it could go there, and yep, that still remains, but it doesn't mean that what comes next is going to be any different, or we just keep going up a perpetuity. That isn't the way it works. That does not come out that way. Now I want to go, oops, I need to change this. So let's put back the minute fifth wave. And if I'm going to put it right there, as if that's going to, oops, come on. And then we're going to go back up here. Okay. So let me go out, open this up just a little bit more. So what I can do is I'm going to take this off. I don't want them to be all kind of ganging up on each other. And then I'm going to clean this up, because these have no business and they don't really apply. And we're going to put this one back up, and then we're going to have all of our minute wave 5. We already have the minor. We got the minor fifth up there, and here we go with our minute. Now, minute wave 5 would be equal to minute wave 1 at 16,058. Well, that high is 16,062. And why? Well, because that fourth wave came down pretty far. So, but that, depending on the structure, could complete the whole thing. So we're not going to go flying above it. And by the way, equality is the most common. So if I put this at 3 and this is the 4, equality tells me doesn't really make new all-time highs. So it finishes right there. Now, should it boost itself? Let's just say Meta blows the doors off, Apple blows the doors off, and then we still have Amazon blows the doors off. So Apple is next week. Amazon reports also next week. And they're playing the long game. They had, okay. I love it when they come out. And please understand also, not to digress or just tangent off of what we're talking about in terms of the markets. But, you know, these people that are putting together their conference calls, their press conference, their discussions, these are professionally written now to put the most positive, glorious spin on what they've done or not done that you've ever heard. Because they're in competition now with each other to grab attention, to get people to come in and buy their stock. This is the way it's done now. So I find it very amusing how things are worded. And a lot of them, it's a lot of click phrases that are all grouped together. And you're like, what? What did he just say? Okay, back at the farm. What we have, 0.618, and that actually just kind of fits where it can go now and still be a wave 2. Right? 1, 2. Clean. In fact, it can get all the way up to here. It just can't exceed it, but it can get all the way up to here as a wave 2. So this is going to get real interesting. That's how long I have to leave this all open. But we're going to see. We're going to see how this all counts out and it finishes up. If it goes full bore, and we can get to 1.618, which would be, if it breaks there, that would be next. That is just 16,413, 414, right up in there, 15. And look where it does. It goes to the minor fifth. So here we have a little bit of a point or a cluster, very small cluster right now, of a possibility. If this is 3 and this becomes 4, and we use our fibs to take it up. So again, that could be a resting point. That could be a finishing point. That could be many different things, but it's there. So before we get all excited that, oh, you're just looking for a top, blah, 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 I'm going to show you the potential. I'm not putting anything in place right now for the Nasdaq based on how far it came down, based on the intensity of the selling as it came off. What they did with these individual stocks, yep, they're buying them back right now, but who knows what they're going to do overnight? Who knows what they're going to do tomorrow when all of this really gets filtered through everybody and we get a lot of position changing going on, all right? Adjustments, et cetera, et cetera. Do we want to be long this long Microsoft? Do we want to keep it, et cetera, et cetera? Also with Google. And we'll see what they want to do. Now, here we have it. So for tomorrow, I'm leaving it as is. Leave the 3 there for now. I have not put the 4 here because I want to see what happens. I'm now making kind of an assumption that the market will continue to move higher. Now, how that all is going to play in is, I believe, as to what I just told you. I think if they only come out with the 25 basis points, that's what the market really is expecting, and so there'll be like a relief. So I don't know how much selling is going to take place. Much will depend, as always, much will depend on the press conference that Powell will give at 2:30 Eastern tomorrow. How he phrases, how he frames what is going on will determine direction moving forward in our interest rate markets and also in the equity markets. So a lot rests tomorrow moving forward. So if we get positive results, if the market really loves it, then I'll put the 4 here and we're in the 5th, and these are the levels. First would be here, 16,058. This one I'm not really even counting. It's there. But we're looking for, for wave 5 to make a new high above wave 3, if indeed this is the play. This one allows that. But even that comes in a little bit shy. I remember that high is 16,062, almost 63. Not that big of a failure, but still, it could complete it and turn us lower. So possibly we zip up to here, which would be a damn sweet rally, about a 300-point rally. And then we get Powell and interest rates, and maybe that'll finish it up. If it continues to get a positive reaction, then we're looking up here. In between, yes, there will be some, and we'll get those as this wave progresses higher. Then we'll be able to draw additional fibs as it moves. For right now, that's all I got. So, and one thing that I possibly could do, even if I'm going to count that as a 4, then we have one more that I can add, and that's also going to be extensions, and extensions for wave 5, which are not really all that popular. So again, I'd have to take this one out and refine it a little bit. I'm even going to take all those out and just say, okay. Because what I'd be, looking for here is that wave 5 is compared to wave 1. But this gives us some indications, and you can see that they kind of do line up. Wave 5 could be 0.618 of wave 3, and it comes out at 16,101. It does produce a new high. It all fits, et cetera, et cetera. But in all honesty, they're not necessarily Elliott, and they're not necessarily fibs that are associated with Elliott. This setup, which is why, I was using it because I know that there's a lot of firms that aren't doing Elliott wave, but they will connect those. And that's why I started using it. So they'll be looking at that move to that move for this move, because they're going to compare this to this. And then you just saw that I did that. So first thing comes in right above here, and then it comes in just above here. So this all still remains very much in line, comparing 5 to 1. And it's cleaner. All right, so moving averages on the hourly. Well, they got a lot of movement after hours. Hold the 50, turning back higher again, and likely going to go above the 200. We have the 200 SMA cresting right above where we topped today. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what they do. Over in the S&P, this one to a T followed. Now I had put the 4 here, and I've counted this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Isn't that interesting? This 4609.25, this 4608.75. 50 cents difference. And what I discussed yesterday said, let's not be surprised or jolted if indeed we go up there and it is the third wave, 3 of 5 that gets us up to here. And I was hoping they would actually poke its nose above and make that new high. Got close. We do a fourth wave, which it may have done, right? May have done. Right there. Leaving us now to put in that wave 5 and head up to here. Now, again, we are counting a minute fifth wave, and so we'll be inside there. It's the minuet wave 5 of minute wave 5. But that one too can extend. Look at the way that originally I had the 3 down here and the 4 here, and look at how this extended. In terms of that, it kept it in the third wave. So I pushed everything back up. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we're looking at minute 5 compared to minute wave 1, 618 is here. Equality, though, is at 4669. I'm counting this 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe that fifth wave's going to go, and it's going to need to extend if it's going to get up above all of this. Minor wave 5 would be equal to minor wave 1 at 46.45. Minute wave 5 would be equal to minute wave 1 at 46.70. These relationships are the most common. And so minor 5 and minute 5 are the last, they're still in play. So we can look for here to here. Kind of a failure would be here. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do 5 doesn't get much higher. It does put in that new high above minute 3, which we look for. But whether or not it's actually going to extend and push it up to its most common relationships on a Fibonacci basis, that would be both for the minor and the minute. So I think this is very possible. 46.50, I think it's very possible. And it just is going to depend on what happens here. So, and you know, what actually happens tomorrow in Meta. And now you could see what they did. They've already just they just brought it back up. 300 bid, just bid 300 and sit there. So somebody's already deciding that's going to happen. And so they're going to sit there and bid for it. That's going to continue to push our markets higher. So what am I looking for? A continuation. What do we got coming in tomorrow? The only thing on the agenda is going to be the FOMC. We do have new home sales at 10 a.m. Eastern, and they're looking like they're not going to come out very well. So a decline in new home sales. No great surprise. So, but the FOMC decision at 2 p.m. and the press conference at 2:30, major. The world will be listening. And then it's on Thursday where we kind of get the bulk of the economic data dumps this week. We have initial jobless claims, durable goods, and GDP, and advanced U.S. trade balance in goods, which is part of GDP. And a lot of all the stuff are part of GDP at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And then at 10 a.m., we have pending home sales, which are also supposed to decline. Less than they did last month, but they're just adding to it. So we got some interesting days ahead. So we're going to see how this all plays out. And that's what we're going to complete for today. I wish everybody a very good trading day tomorrow. I suspect we might pick up a little bit of speed and volume as we prepare for the Fed meeting, and then again in reaction to today's or this afternoon's earnings on Google and on Microsoft. Have a great evening. Have a great trading day tomorrow. Next update will be on Wednesday, July the 26th.